The new soccer ball. A special present. Mother, it's time for breakfast, Miss Montague called in French. There's a birthday present for you. Mamadou ran into the kitchen and saw a shiny new soccer ball on the table. He smiled and jumped up and down with excitement. Can I take the ball to school with me, please? Asked Mamadou. Of course, Miss Matangi said, but be careful with it. At school, Mamadou put his soccer balls under his desk. All through morning lessons, he kept quietly tapping the ball with his foot to make sure it was still there. Finally, it was recess time. Mamadou grabbed the ball and ran outside. He dribbled over to his friend Omar, and they started passing the ball back together. Soccer was Mamadou's favorite sport. Since arriving in the United States and starting school 2 months ago, he played soccer every day during recess. One's classmate, Omar, always played with him. Omar's family was Senegal, so he knew better than anyone how Mamadou felt. There weren't any other immigrant kids at the new school, and everyone called the sport soccer. Back home, he and his friend called it football. Mamadou wondered why American football wasn't called handball, because players used their hands more than their feet. English was such a new and strange language. Mamadou was getting to use it and everything in his new home. When he played soccer with Omar, he felt comfortable in his new school, lost and found. Halfway through recess, Mamadou accidentally kicked his ball through another group of students. A boy named Jacob grabbed Mamadou's ball and kicked it off. Mamadou watched in horror as the ball soared over the high fence. It landed on a field outside the playground. The other kids exchanged nervous looks while Jacob laughed and ran off. As Mamadou felt tears coming, Omar put a hand on his shoulder. Let's go tell teacher, Omar said. He kept his hand on Mamadou's shoulder as they walked back into the classroom where Mr. Rhodes was preparing for the afternoon lesson. What happened? Asked Mr. Rhodes when he saw them. Mamadou couldn't find the right words in English, so he looked at Omar. Jacob kicked Mamadou's new soccer ball over the fence, Omar said. Oh no, said Mr. Rhodes. I'm sorry that happened. Let's go retrieve Jubble, and I'll talk to Jacob. Mr. Rhodes walking outside with Omar and Mamadou. Mr. Rhodes walked outside with Omar and Mamadou. Jacob was sitting on a picnic table looking grumpy. The vice principal, Miss Marquez, stood next to him with her hands on her hips. Almost showed Mr. Rhodes where the ball had landed. Okay, boys, why don't you get Mamadou's ball back? He smiled at them and unlocked the gate. Elmo looked up with surprise. As he and Mamadou walked carefully through the field, Elmo whispered, "Kids aren't usually allowed over here." He smiled at Mamadou. He smiled back. Mamadou was so relieved to have his ball back. He kept it close. He held it close while two boys walked back to Mr. Rhodes, who was talking to Miss Marquez. Mamadou, would you be willing to talk to Jacob? Mamadou looked over to Omar, who translated what Miss Marquez had said into French, so it was easier for him to understand. Mamadou was nervous to talk to Jacob, but he nodded his head. Mamadou sat down at the picnic table next to Omar and across from Jacob, who still looked grumpy. Miss Rhodes and Miss Marquez sat down too. Jacob, kicking Mamadou's ball over the fence was not okay. Did you know why you did that? Mr. Rhodes asked. Jacob just shrugged. Can you think of a time when someone did something like that to you? Took away something while you were using? Jacob was quiet for a moment. Mamadou glanced at Omar, who smiled reassuringly at him. Finally, Jacob spoke. "My big brother always steals my tablet and hides it," he said. "How does it make you feel when he does that?" "Mad," Jacob answered. "So, how did you think Mamadou felt when you kicked his ball over a fence?" Mr. Rhodes asked. Jacob shrugged. "Probably mad." Miss Rhodes turned to Mamadou. "Mamadou, how did it feel when Jacob kicked your ball over the fence?" Omar translated the question into French for Mamadou. Mamadou replied in English, "I did not like it." Miss Rhodes patted his shoulder. "See, Jacob, nobody likes it when their things are taken away. We have all had bad experiences like that. Just because someone does something mean that it doesn't mean that you can be mean to someone else. You have to come inside with me for the rest of recess today and tomorrow. You'll help me get ready for our science lessons this week." Mamadou watched Miss Rhodes and Jacob walk back inside. Miss Marquez turned to Mamadou and Omar. "You two have about 5 more minutes of recess," she told them. "Come on, race you to the tree over there," Omar said to Mamadou as he jumped up. Mamadou was happy to follow, holding his soccer ball as close as he sprinted across the field after his friend. Remember, he was loose. At home, later that day, Mamadou thought about what Miss Rose had said. Just because someone is mean to you doesn't mean you can be mean to someone else. His sister found him staring out at the window. "Are you okay?" she asked in French. "Sometimes I miss home a lot," Manu said. He was grateful to be able to speak in his home language. It made missing home feel a little less bad. Me too. Bad days at school? Luz asked. Mamadou told his sister about what happened with Jacob and how nice Omar had been, and what Mr. Rhodes had said. I just miss my friends, Mamadou said, finishing his story. I thought playing soccer with his friends. The soccer balls they had the refugee camp are old and flat, but at least we could talk to his friends while they all play together. I miss something too, said Luz. It's hard moving to a complete different continent, but there are a lot of things better about living in the United States than a refugee camp in Zimbabwe. Remind me, said Mamadou, looking up at her. Well, for one thing, our parents worked hard to get out of Congo. We weren't safe there. There was a lot of fighting, and our family left with many others. They weren't born yet, but remember the long journey from our hometown to their camp. We stopped in Zambia, where I found a friend, and Lusaka gave us a ride to Zimbabwe. I've never gone so fast in a car before. There's so much wind. Lou smiled, remember? And another thing, we go to much better school here, Lou said. The school in Zimbabwe was far from our home. There was no bus. It took us over an hour to walk there, and sometimes when we arrived, there were no teachers. Our parents brought us here to go to school and have a better life. We're lucky to be here. When I start missing home, I try to be grateful. I don't feel very lucky or grateful right now, said Mamadou, frowning and thinking about his friend back home. But after a moment, he went on. I guess I'm grateful we have electricity all the time, and our kitchen have faucet works, unlike the one we used to have. I'm so grateful that Mom and Dad had jobs here, so soon we can get a car, maybe a computer. And I really like having a bed to sleep and a TV to watch. And I have made one friend. But the best part is we don't have to eat beans anymore. And we get to eat fufu all the time. Mom's fufu is the best. Now you're making me hungry. Luz laughed. Come on, let's help make it dinner. The next day, Mamadou took his soccer ball to school again. He was feeling much better after talking with his sister. At recess, he and Omar passed the ball back and forth. About halfway through recess, a few of other kids came over and asked to play with them. Omar helped everyone divided into teams and set up goals. It was the best that he had had at his new school. He scored 2 goals. By the time the teacher blew the whistle at the end of recess, Mamadou had high-fived 3 of his new classmates. He was feeling grateful like Luz and Hassan. As he settled back into his classroom, Jacob shuffled up to him. Mamadou was anxious, but Mr. Rose was there too. Jacob would like to say something to you, Mr. Rose said. I'm sorry I kicked your ball yesterday, Jacob said. I won't do it again. Mamadou was quiet for a moment, translating Jacob's words in his head. Emma nodded and said, "Okay, thank you." Jacob held his hand and Mamadou shook it. Omar flashed Mamadou a thumbs up from his desk. Things were going to be okay. They weren't perfect, but Mamadou was grateful that he didn't have to figure everything out all at once. And was grateful for a lot of things. His teachers and his family, his new friends, and of course, his new soccer ball.